Let me start by saying this. Emotional pain is not weakness. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's a sign that you feel, that you care, that you've lived. Every one of us has scars, some visible, some hidden. And healing doesn't mean pretending they never existed. It means embracing them, owning them, letting them make you stronger, not smaller. You see, pain has a sneaky way of making you question your worth. It tells you you're not good enough. It whispers that you'll never feel whole again. But here's the truth, pain is a liar. You, just as you are enough. Healing starts with honesty. Be honest with yourself about what hurt you. Don't bottle it up. Don't wear a mask for the world while you crumble inside. Sit with your feelings. Cry if you need to. Scream if it helps. It's power. Next, choose yourself every single day. Choose your peace over someone else's chaos. Choose your growth over your past. Choose to let go, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. You deserve to breathe without the weight of yesterday sitting on your chest. Emotional pain often gets a bad reputation. People treat it like a flaw, like something to hide or be ashamed of. We're taught to smile through it, brush it off, be strong, and move on. But what if we've misunderstood what strength really looks like? What if the very fact that you feel deeply, that you're affected, hurt, or heartbroken, is not a weakness, but proof that you're alive, that you care, and that you've dared to open your heart? Let's be real, we live in a world that glorifies toughness. You see it everywhere, in movies, on social media, even in casual conversations. Don't let it get to you. Just move on. You're too sensitive. But here's the truth nobody talks about enough. It takes a lot more strength to feel everything and still keep going than it does to numb yourself and pretend nothing touches you. When you experience emotional pain, whether from a breakup, betrayal, loss, failure, or disappointment, it shakes you. It makes you question yourself, your choices, and sometimes your entire reality. And in those moments, it can feel like you're falling apart, like something inside you is breaking. But what's actually happening is a destruction. It's transformation. That ache you feel, that's growth, trying to push through the cracks. Pain shows up where there was once meaning, in the places you loved, trusted, hoped, or believed. So the very presence of emotional pain is a sign that you loved hard, dreamed big, and risked vulnerability. That's not weakness, that's courage. That's proof of a heart that dared to be open in a world that can be so unkind. Feeling deeply means you formed bonds. You've built connections that mattered. It means you gave a part of yourself to something or someone. And that takes guts. Not everyone can do that. Many people go through life building walls, avoiding emotional risk, refusing to let anyone or anything in. And maybe they don't feel pain the way you do, but they also don't experience the richness of joy, connection, or love that you've tasted. You've been hurt? Yes. But only because you were brave enough to feel. Think about it. A scar means there was once a wound, but also that you healed. Emotional scars work the same way. They remind you of where you've been, what you've survived, and how much stronger you are because of it. You're not broken because you're in pain. You're healing, and healing is messy, non-linear, and deeply human. When we reject our pain, we reject a part of ourselves. We start to believe that being stoic or unaffected is the ideal, but you weren't built to be numb. You were made to feel, to experience the highs and lows of this life with your whole being. Emotional pain teaches you empathy. It makes you more understanding, more compassionate, and more connected to others who are struggling. It softens the sharp edges and turns you into someone who can sit with another person's sorrow and say, I see you. I've been there too. Owning your emotional pain means not letting it define you, but also not denying it. It's standing in your truth and saying, yes, I'm hurting, and yes, I'm still here. That's strength. That's resilience. The world doesn't need more people pretending they're fine. It needs people brave enough to show up with their hearts still open, even after they've been hurt. So no, emotional pain is not a weakness. It's one of the rawest, realest signs that you're human. That you're not numb to this life. that you've taken chances, that you've cared enough to be impacted. Let that be something you're proud of, not something you try to hide. Because the ability to feel deeply and keep moving forward, that is your superpower. Let it shape you, not shrink you. Let it fuel your growth, not fear. You're not weak for hurting. You're powerful for rising anyway. Healing from emotional pain doesn't begin with pretending everything is fine. It doesn't start with positive quotes or rushed advice to just move on. Real healing begins with a moment of truth. When you finally stop running from your feelings and allow yourself to be honest about what hurt you. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest things to do. Facing pain head-on without distractions, denial, or filters requires immense courage. But that moment, that brave, quiet decision to confront what's going on inside you, is where real healing begins. Too often, we try to outrun our emotions. We stay busy, distract ourselves with work, with people, with noise, hoping if we keep moving, the pain won't catch up. But it always does. It lingers beneath the surface, leaking into our thoughts, our relationships, our sense of self. We snap at people, feel restless or numb. We call it stress or bad days, but really, it's unresolved pain waiting to be heard. When we ignore it, it doesn't disappear. It just finds quieter ways to affect us. That's why honesty is the first step. You have to be willing to sit with your hurt and say, yes, this broke me, or yes, I feel lost, without shame. Being honest with yourself doesn't mean dwelling in the past or playing the victim. It means honoring your story. It's saying, this happened, it hurt me, and now I choose to deal with it. There's no healing in pretending you're okay when you're not. You can't heal what you won't allow yourself to feel. And here's the thing, feeling doesn't make you weak. In fact, giving yourself permission to feel, to cry, to be angry, disappointed, or heartbroken is one of the strongest things you can do. Vulnerability isn't something to run from, it's something to lean into. The truth is, the world often teaches us to be strong by staying silent about our emotions. We learn to suppress tears, to bottle up pain, to act like nothing affects us. But that kind of strength is hollow. Real strength is being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm hurting, but I'm showing up anyway. It's being gentle with yourself when your heart is heavy. It's choosing not to shame yourself for feeling. Emotional wounds need the same care we'd give a physical one. Attention, patience, and kindness. Self-compassion is a huge part of healing. You wouldn't tell a friend who's struggling to just get over it, or to stop being so sensitive. So why say it to yourself? Why hold yourself to impossible standards of perfection and emotional control? Healing requires grace, the kind that says, I'm doing the best I can right now. It's okay if some days you're a mess. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out. What matters is that you're trying, that you're choosing to face what hurts instead of burying it deeper. Sometimes healing also means allowing yourself to be seen, to open up to someone you trust and say, I'm not okay right now. It's in those raw, open moments that we often find connection, comfort, and even unexpected strength. Because when someone sees you in your pain and loves you anyway, it reminds you that you're not broken, you're human, and you're not alone. There's no formula for how long healing takes. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. But what's universal is that healing needs honesty. It needs you to stop pretending and start listening to yourself. Your heart has been trying to talk to you through the tightness in your chest, the tears you hold back, the restlessness you can't explain. The moment you choose to stop running and start listening, everything changes. That's when the real work begins. Not easy work, but necessary, beautiful, life-changing work. You don't need to have all the answers right away. You just need to be willing to be real with yourself, to stop minimizing your pain or comparing it to someone else's. What hurt you matters. How you feel matters, and you deserve the time and space to process it fully. Healing doesn't demand perfection, it asks for presence. And when you give yourself that, when you show up honestly and compassionately for your own heart, you start to reclaim your power, piece by piece. In the end, healing isn't about forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't affect you. It's about accepting your truth, holding space for your pain, and loving yourself through it all. That's how we heal, not by avoiding the pain, but by walking through it. One honest, tender step at a time. Letting go is one of the hardest, yet most powerful choices you can make when healing from emotional pain. It's not about erasing the past, forgetting what happened, or pretending you were never hurt. Letting go doesn't mean what happened was okay, and it certainly doesn't mean the people who caused the pain deserve forgiveness. What it really means is that you deserve peace. You deserve to stop carrying the weight of things that keep breaking your spirit. Letting go is not a gift to them, it's a gift to you. So often we hold on because we think letting go means losing control. We think it means giving up or surrendering, but actually it's the opposite. Holding on to pain, anger, resentment, or regret gives it control over you. It dictates your emotions, your energy, your thoughts, sometimes even your sense of identity. You begin to define yourself by what happened to you, and every day becomes a replay of that wound. It's like walking around with an open cut and refusing to bandage it, hoping it'll go away on its own. But you don't have to keep reopening the wound. You don't have to keep analyzing why someone did what they did or why life didn't turn out the way you hoped. The truth is, you may never get all the answers. You may never receive the apology, the closure, or the recognition you think you need. And while that's unfair, it doesn't mean your healing has to depend on someone else's action. You can choose peace even in the absence of resolution. That's the power of letting go. Letting go is a decision you make every day, sometimes every hour. It's a process. One moment you feel free, the next you're pulled back into the memory, the anger, the what-ifs. That's normal. Healing isn't linear, but every time you choose not to engage with the pain in the same way, every time you take a breath and remind yourself that you're moving forward, you're reclaiming a little more of your life. Forgiveness is often misunderstood in this process. People assume it means excusing what happened or even inviting that person back into your life. But forgiveness is not about them. It's about releasing the emotional grip that experience has over you. When you forgive, you're saying, I'm no longer allowing this pain to control my future. You're freeing yourself from the endless cycle of bitterness and blame. You're choosing to redirect your energy into your healing, your growth, your future. There's something deeply empowering about realizing that you don't need to carry everything. You don't need to be defined by who hurt you, what you lost, or where you went wrong. You can acknowledge it, learn from it, and still decide that your story is far from over. You're allowed to let go of things even if they once meant the world to you. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is walk away from people, from memories, from identities that no longer serve you. Letting go also means creating space. When your heart is so full of pain, there's no room for anything else. Not joy, not peace, not possibility. But as you release the grip on what hurt you, you make room for what can heal you. You begin to rediscover who you are outside of the pain. You start noticing the things that make you feel light again. You give yourself permission to breathe. And no, it's not about pretending the pain never existed. It's about not allowing it to be the loudest voice in your life anymore. It's about saying, yes, this happened, it hurt, but I choose not to relive it every day. That choice is yours. That freedom is yours. Letting go doesn't happen all at once. Sometimes it's just choosing not to respond to the memory. Sometimes it's saying no to another round of self-blame. Sometimes it's turning your attention to something good, something present, something real. It's a quiet rebellion against the hold pain tries to have on your life. Letting go is an act of love, love for yourself. It's choosing to live your life on your own terms, not tethered to pain, regret, or resentment. It's refusing to let your past steal your present. It's a journey, and it won't always feel easy, but every step you take away from what hurt you and toward what heals you is worth it. You deserve that peace. You deserve that freedom. And most of all, you deserve to be happy again. Not because everything is perfect, but because you chose to let go of what was never yours to carry forever. Healing is not about becoming the person you were before the pain. That version of you no longer exists, and that's not something to grieve, it's something to honor. You're not meant to go backward. You're meant to move forward, to evolve, to rise into someone even stronger, wiser, and more self-aware than before. Pain changes us, but healing is what shapes who we become after the storm. It's not about fixing what's broken. It's about rebuilding with deeper understanding, more resilience, and a renewed sense of purpose. When something or someone hurts us deeply, it can feel like part of us shatters. We look at the pieces and wonder if we'll ever feel whole again. But healing doesn't come from trying to glue everything back exactly the way it was. It comes from looking at those pieces, understanding what each one taught us, and deciding how we want to rebuild. Maybe some pieces don't belong anymore. Maybe new ones are born in the process. That's not failure. That's transformation. So many people think healing means returning to a previous version of themselves. They chase after old routines, old relationships, old mindsets, hoping to recreate a time before the pain. But that's not healing. That's resistance. Because whether we like it or not, pain changes the landscape of our lives. And healing requires us to explore that new terrain with open eyes and an open heart. It's about meeting yourself where you are now, not where you used to be. There's a quiet strength in rising from your pain, not the kind that roars or demands attention, but the kind that simply chooses to keep going. The strength that wakes up every day and chooses to try again, to feel again, to believe again, even if it's just a little. That's what healing looks like. Not perfection, not a flawless emotional journey, just a willingness to keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when it's hard.